Welcome back to another edition of Grizzlies Daily. I'm your host Malik, and let's just get straight into it. So, Bleacher Report dropped an article listing Giannis' possible trade destinations, and the Grizzlies ended up making the list. So that list actually came out, and it says that Bleacher Report, I'm reading off of a post, somebody summarized the article. Bleacher Report has listed the Memphis Grizzlies as a team to watch in a potential trade for Milwaukee Bucks superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo. If the Grizzlies decide to discuss a deal, it will likely have to start with former Defensive Player of the Year Jaren Jackson Jr. pairing two electrifying talents of the NBA in Ja Morant and Giannis Antetokounmpo would change the landscape of the league. So, with this in mind, I on a rare, and I mean a rare time, I actually agree with Bleacher Report. I think 100% if the Grizzlies make a deal, the Bucks will want a guy like Jaren Jackson Jr. obviously to replace that position. And honestly, 20 a good 25 out of 30 teams will tell you they don't mind building a franchise around Jaren Jackson Jr. And it's crazy, especially when you see Grizzlies fans kind of talk bad about Jaren or say we need to trade Jaren, but you look at all these other fan bases and they're like, we would love Jaren on our team. And I think a lot of Grizzlies fans don't understand that part because Jaren brings a lot to the team. Yes, I know he has his flaws, but Jaren is one of the anchors of this team. And I think for a fan base that is hooked on nostalgia, especially from 2022 and 2023, getting rid of Jaren does not help the problem. That's just that simple. It does not help the problem. But if the Grizzlies were to trade for Giannis, I truly do think this would help them out in the long run, especially when it comes to that championship window. We've seen Giannis play with great players like Damian Lillard and even Chris Middleton. A Ja Morant and Giannis Antetokounmpo tandem would be perfect for the Grizzlies. It'd be a great pick and roll. Fast breaks would essentially be unstoppable. You're adding another defensive force, if arguably not better than Jaren. So I definitely think if the Grizzlies were to make a deal, Jaren Jackson Jr. would definitely have to be up for grabs. And honestly, it would probably help them in the contract scenario because at least you're paying near supermax money for a supermax player. And this is only saying it because Giannis is a superstar in this league, a superstar in the entire world. So getting that kind of player on your team would essentially do wonders. So I think absolutely the Grizzlies should at least make a deal to try and get Giannis onto the compo. So I would say pull the trigger on it, or at least see what the asking price is for. And if you feel like it's not worth giving Jaren Jackson Jr. up, then that's just so be it. I mean, hey, that's really just it. So according to Bleacher Report, do not be surprised if the Grizzlies come out as a surprise contender for Giannis Antetokounmpo. We've been talking about it, and now we see a bunch of other people, other news sources jumping on that train as well. So something to definitely keep an eye out for. I know I definitely will, and I'll definitely be bringing that to y'all as I learn more. And also in the news department, we have an update on the knee injury of Tarek Biberovic. If you remember, he is the draft and stash player that the Grizzlies drafted in 2023. He went overseas, and actually he's been playing pretty good. But recently he suffered a pretty gruesome knee injury. It was non-contact. Luckily, it was proven that he did not tear anything in the knee, so that's a good thing. And we also have an update saying that he will miss 3 to 4 weeks with an ACL strain, which is the best case scenario for him because it actually keeps his contract potential on the table if he decides to come over to the NBA. Now, it's still not confirmed whether or not the Grizzlies will actually bring him over, but multiple reports have been leaning towards that idea that he's going to finally come over to the NBA and try to fight for a rotation spot. So I definitely think, hey, it's something to keep an eye out for. I put my opinion on him. I don't know exactly what this would look like if he did come over. Um, he's not the ideal target that I want the Grizzlies to have, but I'm open to anything new. If he's proven himself, uh, Can't wait to see it. Obviously, I hope to see him play in the summer league because I'm watching highlights, but full games tell the whole story. So hopefully, we see something from him if he does decide to come over. Yeah, that's really it. But the injury news, big sign, huge sign for the for him and potentially the Grizzlies if the reports are true. So shout out to Tarek, and I'm glad that he avoided a pretty severe injury because that injury video is it's pretty hard to watch. So very good news regarding him. But something else I want to talk about, and I saw this post on Twitter. It's from the B-Ball Index. They it's a graphic saying, well, it's not really a graphic, but it's a tweet saying the top 5 rookies in matchup difficulty, and Jalen Wells ranks at number 1 at 99%. And this is based on how good the players he defended. Not this is good. This is based on how skilled the players that you're guarding are, and the data in percentile. Now, I'm not sure what the data in percentile is, but I definitely can say that this is pretty accurate in my opinion. All bias aside, Jalen Wells has guarded some of the top players in this league. In the playoff, it's no doubt in my mind in the playoffs, he probably would have guarded. He probably would have had to guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander without a doubt. But this is a guy that in the regular season held Steph Curry to 2 points on no field goals. I feel like that does not get enough attention. Even then, Amen Thompson did the same thing where Steph Curry scored 3 points, and I feel like people talk more about that than what Jalen Wells did. And Jalen Wells did something that hasn't been done in God knows how long. So, Jalen Wells has proven himself as a top defender, and I truly do think, and I honestly do believe, that if Jalen Wells stays healthy, it's not like Jalen Wells had any injury concerns, but if Jalen Wells can stay healthy throughout the entire season next year, without a doubt in my mind, he can make an all defensive team. I think he can honestly make an all defensive team. I've said on record that Jalen Wells is the Marcus Smart type player that the Grizzlies needed that is available. So his progression as a 3 and D guy has something that I've honestly been a fan of 100% of the way ever since I've seen him play in summer league and obviously throughout the regular season. Like, man, this is a guy that's going toe to toe with LeBron and Steph and all these top players in the league. So Jalen Wells, I can't wait to see how he progresses in the next year because he has a great story. And to see him succeed in this system, it's a great sign for not only us, but for him as well. So I can't wait to see how Jalen Wells comes out after training camp going into next season because unless there's a superstar trade, he's going to be in the starting lineup. So I think that's something that we can all expect right there. But speaking of lineups and how the Grizzlies can progress, obviously, if you didn't know, the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers are in the NBA Finals. 2 small market teams, 2 teams that have not made the finals in the course of a long time. Pacers in well over 20 years. This is their first time in, I believe, 25 years, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. And then OKC, first time since, 2012. But this right here, this just goes to show that if there is a team that needs to be watching this series from the first minute to the last minute, it's the Memphis Grizzlies. Because they need to see how this system that both of these teams have come up with got them to this point. It's easy to say, oh, well, the Thunder had the MVP, and the Pacers got Pascal Siakam and Tyrese Halliburton. It's more than that. And it's been proven to be more than that. There have been multiple times where Tyrese Halliburton doesn't score much, but he's going to play make. He's going to get the other guys open, like Andrew Nembhard and, Aaron Nesmith, and just the other guys that come on the court. Ben Shepherd, Obi Toppin. Everybody contributes to their role. And then even with OKC, Caruso, J-Dub, Chet, Cason Wallace. I can name a lot of people for OKC. But if there's something that the Grizzlies, and I mean everybody on the Grizzlies, including John Morant, the front office, everyone needs to see how these teams work in this finals because we have not seen a small market finals in a good amount of time. So this is something that I personally am going to watch because It's not often we get this. So the fact that it's here lets me know that it's possible for the Grizzlies to get to this point. It's very possible. They are just 1 to 2 pieces away from getting to this point. And it starts with understanding what the teams before you did. Because OKC and Indiana were laughing stocks 2 years ago. Back when the Grizzlies were the second seed and about to run the West at one point. They were laughing stocks. And now they're in the finals and we're just watching. It's important to take note of these things. So I personally think what the Grizzlies can learn, and this is for the front office, learn how to build around the players, learn who can play what role and who is willing to play what role. Because one thing about it, it's more than just signing a guy and being like, hey, you're coming off the bench, we want you to do this, this, and that. It's all about passion at the end of the day. And if the passionate guys are going to play their role to the fullest extent, it's not about money, it's not about the fame, it's about winning. And I feel like the Grizzlies don't have enough guys that want to win. And that's just that simple. I mean, prime example, Obi Toppin. He was on the Knicks, and now he's on the Pacers. He's still on the bench, and he could have said, "Hey, I'm not happy here." He could have said, "I'm not liking the reduction in minutes that I had early in the season." But guess what? His passion to win is what teams like, and that's why the Pacers kept on to him, and that's why he's getting key minutes in the playoffs. The Grizzlies don't have many players like that, and that's just with all due respect. It's just simple as that. So once again, get some veterans that want to win and that can win and play their role effectively. And as far as the players, one thing that the Grizzlies did this year that really irritated me was the lack of hustle. We were out hustled multiple times. There were multiple plays, whether it was crashing the offensive glass or just trying to figure things out about how to not turn the ball over. End of the day, hustle is important. If you get out hustled, you've lost. Whether it's rebound, turnovers, fast breaks, whatever, defense. It's just, if you get out hustled, the game is over. And we saw that multiple times this year. So I think if the Grizzlies pick up on these things, we could very well be seeing them at least make a conference final. But it all starts with the players in the front office. And it's only time can tell. So I don't know about y'all, but I'm going to be watching this closely and seeing what can we do to see our team make the finals. Because one thing about it, I want to see a parade in Memphis, just like every other Memphian. You got to do it. And I think the players need to understand, you're not just doing it for every Memphian, but you're doing it for every other team before you. The Grit and Grind Grizzlies, the Vancouver team, the team that made the playoffs for the first time with Hubie Brown as the head coach. It goes a long way. And I think they need to understand who they're doing it for. And once they understand that, we're looking at something completely different. And that's why I say the veterans need to be on this team, because they are going to implement this in the players' heads, because they've never been in this position before. But once you know someone that's been there and they've had a long, hard road to it, you're going to get motivated. It's just that simple. I know I get motivated seeing people do this, and they have way, way more attention than I do, but I know it's a grind. And hearing them say that, that motivates me to keep going. So the Grizzlies take a lot from this series because it goes a long way, and I promise you it will work out in the future. But they have to want it. It's just that simple. Like I said, this is the players in the front office. They have to want it. So that's something they really have to implement in the team. But for right now, that's all I got on Grizzlies Daily. Like I said, we're following everything, Bleacher Report articles, Twitter articles, whatever I can find. I'm bringing it all to you guys. So if you like this episode, make sure to like and comment. I'll read the comments if you leave anything. Make sure to subscribe to turn on post notifications to find out when we post, because we try to post every other day. And as for me, this is Grizzlies Daily. My name is Melek, and y'all stay blessed.